events with the paid content and business information products and how you can leverage those two together. Pleased to welcome Diane Schwartz, who's Senior Vice President and Group Publisher with the Media and Communications Group with Access Intelligence. Diane is going to give us an overview of how her group approaches events and paid content. Then we're going to open it up for a Q&A. I'm going to initiate the Q&A, and we're going to open up for the audience. Let's give Diane a round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you very much. My mic working? Yeah. Okay. There we go. So today I'm going to be talking, I sort of renamed my session, The Editor and Me, the idea of premium profitability. Premium, in this case, being premium content. So I'll start with the story about one of the brands in the Media Communications Group at Access Intelligence. We have a brand called PR News. It's been around over 60 years, covers a public relations discipline. And back in 1996, around the year that I started with Access Intelligence, we were Access Intelligence, formerly Phillips Publishing. Its legacy, its origins has been in newsletters, paid newsletters. So we were a newsletter company. And in the group that I was a part of, we had just newsletters, about 20, maybe 30. We launched and folded and launched and folded. But back then, all we did were newsletters. And a wise man stopped by my office one day and said, "Why don't you do some seminars?" And I thought that was a really good idea. So we launched PR News seminars. And fast forward to today, just for PR News, we do 25 conferences and awards programs, generating about $3 million a year. And we've grown our database over the years to about 200,000 records. And we've taken that formula of starting with a premium product and launching sort of surround sound media plan that includes events, awards, digital offerings, books in some cases, and professional development. So this lather, rinse, repeat model that we've applied to the Media Communications Group. So goals for today's session, first and foremost, is to not bore you. I know with these tables, I'll be fine, but and to show you how to create a thriving event business and why paid content still matters. How many people here have a paid content product? It's a good number. So Access Intelligence, we're a $65 million B2B media company in the markets that you see up there. And the Media Communications Group, over which I have purview, is about $20 million serving the public relations, media, entertainment space, TV, broadcast entertainment. And the brands we have are PR News, Folio. You might be familiar with Folio. MIN, Media Industry Newsletter. The two in the middle are our cable and TV brands. And Expo, which covers the trade show market, and Studio Daily, which is video production and editing. Do about 75 events a year in this group, and these events are mostly 1 to 2 day events, anywhere from 100 to 400 or 500 attendees. We do a few larger events that have exhibit halls, but for the most part, it's attendee revenue for us. That is the majority of our revenue stream for our events. This is a sampling of some of our events. You might be familiar with them. Some of these are awards programs where we have people pay to enter, as you're familiar with that, and then they pay to attend, and then they pay to do some other things, which we'll get into later, but this is just a sampling. And in our group, we have 3 subscription-based newsletters, and this is the premium content part, which I started. Cable Facts Daily is On the low end, about $1,500 a year, but we have a lot of site licenses, group subscriptions that networks and operators pay upwards $100,000 a year. And then the other two weekly publications are, a little over $1,000 a year. So this is the premium content of which I speak. And why have we been able to launch events and grow this into multi-million-dollar business is the credibility and trust that we have with the newsletter brands. And really with the brands. In fact, we had to unlearn the term newsletter. It really is about the brand. And the brand, within the brand, we have newsletters, we have events. But we wouldn't be able to do all that we're doing in the PR, cable, and media space without the subscription publications that we have. They're trusted, they're authoritative, they've been around for many years at a time where people think content should be free and they can get content anywhere. There has been a gravitation back toward filtered content that's filtered for you from people that you trust. For Access Intelligence, this chart shows, it might be hard to read, but events are about 52% of our revenue, followed by e-media. Print is less and less every year, and subscriptions are about 10% of our revenue. And then for the group that I'm talking about today, over the years, you can see in the bottom chart, subscription revenue was over 40% of what we did, and now it's 9%. But that 9% is a really important 9%, and we never downplay what the newsletters bring, even though the subscriptions in dollars may not be as high, or maybe reflect. You may say, well, maybe we should fold the newsletters. If we folded these newsletters, we probably would not have a successful event business. So events for us are a growing part. This year, 44% of our budgeted revenue is for events. 39% is all the things that we're doing online or digitally. And again, 9% of our revenue will be coming from subscriptions. So just a look at, with the media communications group, those 7 brands, our events have been growing year over year, very high margins for our newsletters and for our events. Interestingly, only about 20% of those who subscribe to our newsletters actually come to our events. But these subscribers are our major influencers for everything in our network. They're the ones who recommend to their team that they come to our events or that they enter our awards programs or engage with us. So we're okay with that number. Of course, we'd always like for it to be higher, but I think that's a pretty telling percentage. And the 40% of the people who enter our many awards programs that we have, 40% of those come to our events, and that's growing every year. So there's a halo effect when you have a really strong brand. Just having a brand like PR News or Cablefax in the marketplace, the halo effect is money in the bank. It gives us the ability to go into different areas, whether it's a guidebook that we want to create or a webinar or a show that we hope to grow into a bigger, like a trade show. The brands give us that entree and the credibility that we have. It's a very high barrier to entry to get into launching a subscription product and then growing that into events and keeping the subscriptions going and so forth. So the next 3 slides, this is sort of our food chain, sort of our ecosystem for our premium business, actually the whole media communications group business. At the top, which is a smaller part of what we do, is our premium products. And then the premium light, which I'll show you in the next slide what that is. Then the smaller fees that we charge, and then the larger, even about the same as the fee, are the free things that we do. So the newsletters would be at the top, that's our paid content. And then conferences and books, we charge anywhere from $700 to about $1,000 to attend our conferences. We charge about $400 for a guidebook. And then the awards, webinars, merchandise, that's the fee part of this pyramid. And then we have a lot of free content, e-letter, social media, web, which I'm sure everyone here does the same. And then the people that we reach at the top, those paying $1,000 a year tend to be of a higher title. But even those that are at the higher title are also eating up our free content and engaging in other ways. And sort of in the middle, where a lot of our revenue is the managers, the VPs, the practitioners. I'm going to do 2 case studies. One is on Synopsys, which is actually a group of free newsletters. We acquired this brand. Is anyone familiar with Synopsys here? Yeah. We acquired this brand about 3 years ago. It was ad-based newsletters covering the TV business, TV and then sports programming and kids programming. An ad at the top of this daily newsletter is $10,000, and they usually sell out in this daily e-letter. So it was a very interesting business for us. It's an ad-based business. But we took that lather, rinse, repeat model, and so on the left, that's what we acquired 3 years ago. We acquired these daily newsletters. About 60,000 people receiving them. And then over the past 2.5 years, we've grown the ad model into a lot of premium content. So 17 events, 4 awards programs, webinars that people pay to attend. So we had we acquired a brand that also had a lot of credibility and trust. I think people were really excited to engage face-to-face with the Synopsys brand and with everything that we're doing. So these are some of the things that we launched in the past couple of years. At the top left, this is the future of TV. We had about 250 attendees there and maybe 5 sponsors, so it was attendee base. The Model D Awards recognizing top online content, TV shows online. Tomorrow we're doing a breakfast of champions at the New York Athletic Club around the Super Bowl for our Synopsys sports brand. And then on the right is just a webinar promotion where we got about 150 companies that paid about $400 to attend that webinar. And this is under a brand that 3 years ago, everyone just expected everything to be free because they were getting all the content from Synopsys for free, but we learned they were willing to pay for good content. Then PR News, which I referred to earlier, this was a premium play. This was started out 65 years ago as a newsletter and has a lot of authority in the marketplace, a lot of brand recognition. We've built the community. We've been engaging with our audience. Through our events, through our social media. We've been consistent in our unique selling proposition across all the different things that we're doing. So our mission with PR News is very tactical, how to tie PR to the bottom line. So whatever we do, whether it's an event, a webinar, social media, that's the mission. We have PR News is very active on social media, as are most of our brands, but this one in particular, across the platforms that we're on, we have over 150,000 people that engage with us. So in summary, before Matt grills me with some hard questions, what I hope you'll take away today is you can build a premium audience and develop a premium reputation. And what I mean by that is not being afraid to charge a premium for your conferences, for your events, and so forth. Foster the influencer relationships, our subscribers to our newsletters, are those influencers who may not come to our events, but they will influence others to do so. Feed your community on a daily basis with content, with good content. Engage with them and engage smartly. And always give them something to buy. I mean, we are for profit, so we're always interested in somehow getting them to pay for something. So that's all. I hope you guys have a lot of questions and that we can share some other case studies together. Thank you.
We do have a couple minutes, so I am actually going to open it up for the audience.
Thanks. That almost throwaway comment at the end about make sure there's something to buy. I think I'd like to hear you expand a little bit more about that, especially in the case where an audience has been used to getting a lot from you at no cost. How do you start to educate them and even break into their awareness that you're doing these other things, that they can be in a commercial relationship with you and actually even get more value?
Right. Well, with the Synopsis brand, that's an example of free, where, I mean, we were a little nervous at first when we started charging for awards and, to enter awards or to come to our conference. We didn't get any pushback from that. But with the other brands, our strategy is 98% of our marketing is through email marketing, web-related marketing, social media marketing. So we drive them to the site with really good content and surround them with e-commerce. So it's simple, really as simple as that. And the majority are not going to buy anything, but many do. Yes?
Well, I guess as a follow-up, was it gating existing content or creating new premium content?
Well, what was the first part of the question?
Was it gating existing content that was already free, or was it creating new content?
Oh, that's a good question. So the premium brands that we have, for example, Cablefax or Min or PR News, we gate our premium content. We do tease them sometimes and open up our paid content to get people to subscribe. But we've created a whole new free content model that complements our paid. So it's hybrid. So we have to be really careful that our free content isn't as good as our premium content. So there's a balancing act there. Did that answer your question? Yeah.
Diane, how is your social media organized? Is one person in charge, or does each person have a role in it?
Everybody owns social media. I mean, that's my opinion, and I can say it and say it and say it, but it really doesn't work most of the time. There's usually a small group of people in every team that are really excited about social media and that engage. But we really try to create a culture where everybody's tweeting, posting on Facebook. Reporters, LinkedIn is a great tool for reporting purposes, but it also helps with branding. So everybody's involved in social media, but I would say our marketers are probably more fervent on social media than our editorial team.
Diane, you talked about how your events started almost as an ancillary to the actual content products. Today, events are much larger. Well, they're larger than the other paid content products. How does that affect your go-to-market strategy? How do you organize your groups around actually going to market both with the events and the paid content products? What gets the emphasis and who's in charge of what?
Well, what's great about subscription products is it's recurring revenue. So that has a lot of value in terms of going to market. Events are is our focus as a company, and really every group within AI has been following that trend. So the way that our groups are structured, it's all integrated. We don't have a separate group for subscriptions, a separate group for events. It's an integrated approach. But the events and the subscriptions are the highest value parts of our group. But really what's I think even more so is our community, the engagement of our community.
Are you putting emphasis on certain types of events going forward? Do you think the types of events that you're going to do, are they going to change?
We are always testing new events. So we fail fast, move on, we're able to try new things. In some of our spaces, so in a lot of those examples, a lot of our brands, we do not, unlike the Asset International, we don't have deep-pocketed sponsors, a big sponsorship market for a lot of our brands, so we really rely on attendee and subscriber revenue. So going the trade show route may work with a few brands, but for the others, it's about building our attendee base. So more like 2-day conference, 1 to 3-day conferences, not big trade shows.
One more question.
Hi, Diane. Do you take the content that's generated at your events and turn it around again back to your subscription business or back into other types of content to create, or back to your community? Just about, how you use that to engage with your community again?
Yeah, we try and repackage everything that we do. And so content, as I define it, it goes across, an event is content. A newsletter is content, a webinar is content. So how we package that, we package it into books, we package it into, we take our webinar content and rework it to online learning, other online learning opportunities. Our PR news sources are often great speakers for our events. So it's all mixed together. We're always thinking about repurposing the content and reselling it.
Diane, great job. Let's give her a round of applause, please.
Thanks.